Okay, I think we're recording. Ephraim, it's good to be with you.
Good to be with you too.
Good. I'm Harlan Hodge, Senior Manager of Diversity and Inclusion here at the Center for Diversity and Cultural Competence. I am so happy that we got Ephraim here with us today. This is one of the most outstanding young men I've ever met in my life. He's been spending some time sort of with our department over the past 2 years. And we were just expecting, a freshman who just knew a little bit of something, just to be with us. But he has amazed us. And so we thought we'd take a opportunity to kind of share you with everybody else who might want to know a little bit about you. So welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, I want you to tell us a little bit about you. Tell us who you are, your first and last name, where you're from, all of that stuff.
Got you. Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ephraim Oyetunji. I was born in Nigeria, specifically in Lagos, Nigeria. Me and my family, we left when I was 2 years old. I've been living in South Florida, near the Miami area for the past 14 years of my life, so about since 4 years old. I moved to St. Louis purely for education. I'm a WashU student. It's my first year here, and I love it so far. I'm currently majoring, I think at least, in neurobiology. I plan to minor in African and African-American studies and healthcare management. And my long-term goals with all those things is to become a physician leader, specifically by pursuing an MD, MBA. So I'm not just treating my patients, but also have the capacity to do institute policies that affect everyone too. So yeah.
That's pretty doggone amazing. That's pretty amazing. How did you know you wanted to do all of this stuff?
For me, I guess since when I was a kid, I guess my parents always pushed me. It's I went to the health area. My dad's a pharmacist. My mom's a nurse practitioner. And she actually switched into nursing when she came here. She was originally a teacher back in Nigeria. And so I guess growing up and seeing her with nursing textbooks and other things, always piqued my interest. When I was a kid, my parents introduced me. It was became a very big family gathering thing to watch Gifted Hands, Ben Carson's book. Book and movie about his life. And since I was I want to say around 10, I watched that. I was very, very intrigued. And if I want to say what kept it and deepened my interest was my high school American Heritage back at home, my pre-med track. So with that, we took classes of medical terminology, anatomy, forensics. Within senior year, we did a shadowing experience. I did about 100 hours of volunteering and shadowing under local hospitals and physicians, through the Cleveland Clinic, Memorial Hospital, and getting to see surgeries inside the room and getting to see the actual patient-physician experience. And my favorite one though was at the Cleveland Clinic. It was under the CEO and COO, and they would he was an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Barsoom, CEO of Cleveland Clinic in South Florida, and that day students watched him in the operating room performing orthopedic surgery, and then that same day talking to other board members about the numbers and understanding how they were going to institute policies to help other people and cost effectiveness. So I guess having that duality of not being limited by just to one patient at a time and being able to look at things on a grander scale was something that I had not seen before and something that I hope to also pursue. Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. And I have to remind myself that I'm talking to a freshman, second semester freshman at Washington University. But I'm going to ask you a question that we usually ask adults. Why? Right? So I know that you're interested, but what do you want to change? What's sort of driving you to pursue this MD/MBA?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to my upbringing. For me, I left Nigeria when I was 2, so I don't remember much of it. But I left to it in 5th grade for winter break. I got to see a lot of things that I'm even seeing here sometimes with disparities, whether that's access or difficulty to get things, or whether that's not even having the medication at all or the physician right there with you. And I think for me, extending that to what I can do to actually be the change that I would like to see is having that power, not necessarily saying that people should do these things, but going out there, getting the education that I would like to actually be part of that change. And in my case, for bigger policies, is communities, and that's something that has, whether it's through Urban, through the scholarship program I'm on, or that's back at home in my research family. Community is something that's been very essential to me. And seeing if you treat everyone as a member of your community, that's you don't want anyone to be left out. And that's something that now that as a physician leader, that I can implement that change and bring everyone into the community and treat them as a member as they should be.
Wonderful. Great. All right, so now that we've gone through all of that stuff, what we'd like to do is this little thing, we give you an opportunity. We're going to give you the stage. All right? You've got 3 minutes to talk. It doesn't have to be related to anything that we've talked through so far, but we do want you to tell us a little bit of a story in the answering of a question. Yeah. So the We call it just one question. Right? So I'm going to ask you one question. The stage is yours.
Yeah.
And we love for you to answer, including a story. So we want a story-based answer to this question. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's our just one question. What had to die for you to be here today?
I think for me, that would have to be fear. Growing up as a kid, there was a lot of things that, like, for me at least, I would, like, not try to get out of my comfort zone to do. Whether that was, like, academically, socially, oftentimes in sports. But my parents would always have that little nudge, that little push up, you're doing this. And I think the best story that I can come up with for that is my journey starting science research. So end of 9th grade, my biology teacher, who's also the research director of my high school's program, suggested that I apply for the program and for 8 weeks during the summer, come from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and conduct scientific research in this high school's lab. To me, that didn't sound too interesting. I would prefer to staying home for the summer. It is Florida. After all, my parents had other plans. So I signed up for the program. And at first, I'll be honest, research was an acquired taste. Having to come in early seemed daunting, having to come up with your own topic. But I think the biggest thing, and I mentioned it earlier, was community. People who I wasn't just the only one person there. There was like around 20, 25 other kids there too, all coming into the lab, trying to learn something new about science, invent something new about science, and being surrounded by other people who were driven. Even despite my fear of, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I've never done this before, it was something that, like, opened my eyes pretty much to, I'm not the only one, and I'm not the only one who's scared or may not know what's going on, but other people are there to help you. And along with that was one story of, this was my first year doing research, trying to do a Western blot. I guess at the time, I was pretty hopeful that, like, I could conduct this, and you can ask anyone who was there around the time. I spent so much time trying to repeat it, do it over and over and over again. Pretty much it's a procedure you're supposed to, like, quantify or, like, detect proteins. Specifically, I was studying on, like, these tiny worms called C. elegans, and it didn't work out. Maybe for, like, the 5th, 6th time, and I had run out of money, materials, specifically gels. So I was on my last one, and I was trying to see if I could even come up and, like, see the proteins at all. And I came back, and I think it was, like, 4 p.m. No, maybe, because during the school year, like, first semester, you still continued. So, like, around, like, 3 to 6 p.m., we were still there. Like, 6 p.m., my mom was, like, driving into the lot, and, like, I was trying to look at my last one, and it was blank. I pretty much, like, burst into tears. It was a lot. And, but pretty much everyone that was there, I was scared that it happened, and, like, now what am I going to do? But everyone rallied around me. Like, I was in tears. My teacher, director, friends were there, just making sure that, like, to know that I wasn't alone. And, like, I think that was the biggest thing that, like, challenged my fear, was that just being vulnerable with other people, putting yourself inside a community and just leaning into everyone else's comfort around you. Because there's people there to support you, and you just got to lean into that. And I think for me, that was conquering fear, though I still battle with it every now and then, but I think that's the biggest thing that's got me to where I am. Yeah.
Awesome. Ephraim, listen, I've been given permission to offer you a full-time role here at the hospital. If you would. Wow. As president of the hospital, right? So you think about it overnight, right?
Yeah.
And let us know your answer in the morning.
All right. You got it.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. That was fun.
That's great. That's great, man.